On this week's show, we're headed to Northwest Ontario's Eagle Lake Island Lodge for a combination muskie, archery whitetail, and walleye adventure.
Hey, I've been fishing in Ontario for well over 40 years and have some great fishing memories, not to mention some very close friends. Ontario has some of the best multi-species freshwater fishing in the world. Ontario has a special place in my heart. The Ontario experience captures all of this and more as hosts Troy Lindner and Ty Shadeen explore new places, meet some authentic characters, and experience world-class fishing and hunting along the way. The Ontario experience is the next best thing to going on the adventure yourself, and who knows, this unique show just might give you some ideas for your next fishing or hunting trip.
We just pulled into Eagle Lake in Northwest Ontario. This is a boat to adventure. We're heading to an island, Eagle Lake Island Lodge. We get the whole island to ourselves. You're talking huge muskie, huge walleyes. I'm meeting my good friend Jeremy Smith up there. This kid is a muskie rat. What a perfect playground for him. What I haven't told you is I'm not here just for the fish. I'm here to feed my biggest passion, and that's going after whitetails with my bow. One of the great things about Eagle Lake Island Lodge is if you own a boat, you can bring it. That means you're free to pack all your favorite rods and reels, tackle, use your own electronics, and in my case, pack all the required archery gear too, including a practice target. Yes, everything but the kitchen sink. Like I was saying, whitetails are my passion, but so are walleyes. If I can tag out, I'm going after a big walleye to try to beat my personal best on Eagle Lake. Let's get this Ontario experience on plane. Whether you bring your own boat or use one of Eagle Lake Lodge's premium deep V's with 4-stroke motor and fish finder, staff will meet you at the landing to load your gear, provide transport, and lead the way to the lodge. Given all of our camera, fishing, and hunting gear, we decided to trailer our own boats this trip. Only 3 hours north of the Minnesota-Canadian border. And from the landing, it's only minutes by water to the lodge. I was like a kid on Christmas morning. I couldn't wait to get in the stand and on the water for whitetails and walleye. The main lodge and cabins offer all the amenities of home, and then some. The views are spectacular, and the log cabins offer cozy, rustic comfort for all the authentic up-north experience. "70,000 acres of world-class waters, and the food? Try king cuts of delicious prime rib with all the sides. The dining area can accommodate large groups, and it's the perfect place to go over fishing or hunting plans and share stories. You won't go hungry, that's for sure. This segment is brought to you by Tourism Northern Ontario.
Eagle Lake, Island Lodge, first day whitetail hunting. Just heading out in the morning. Again, first hunt. Super excited. Been seeing some deer on the camera. A couple of bucks. Anticipation is high. So the thing is what we're seeing on the camera is kind of midday movement. The thing is we got our front actually moving in. So you just don't know if that's going to change. I mean, this time of year, their patterns will change 3, 4, 5 times within a month and a half. So you got to be out there really here for 4 or 5 days. So you got to use every minute that you can. So heading out, see what we got. As you can see, our mode of transportation to our deer stands, a boat. How cool is that? Obviously we're on an island, so everywhere we're going from here, is by boat. What a cool experience. We're gonna try to sit down about 1 o'clock, see what happens. Maybe go back to the lodge for a quick bite to eat and then come back. So we'll see what happens here. Looks like a doe or a small buck. Case in point, yellow front coming in. Things are already changing. We were blowing out when we first got here, and a doe come in. Might have been the same one. She was real nervous coming back, so she would have been the one we kicked up. But enough to get your blood excited, or your adrenaline going, and your blood pressure up. Looking for a little hardware on the top of the head, though. So it's a good start for the day. Oh, it actually kind of cooled off this morning when we got here. It was fairly mild. Wind picked up a little bit, cooled off. We did bump one when we came in this morning. About a half hour later, I think it was the same one that came back. It's probably about 10:30 right now. I think the same doe ended up coming back again. She's real nervous since she's been bumped this morning, so at least it's been some action, getting our adrenaline going, keeping us warm with this cooler weather coming in. So typically about this time, there's been a couple of bucks that have been coming in, so kind of hoping that happens today. First hit, so anything can happen.
This segment is brought to you by Go Hunt Ontario.
All right, Eagle Lake, October. This lake has produced 2 of my biggest Canadian muskies. It's a tough lake, but it can be, when it's on, it is like no place else. I've spent the better part of 20 years fishing up here, and this is a super, super special place, and I brought my neighbor, friend, and scientist buddy along for the trip. He's gonna catch his first Canadian legal, he's claiming, on this deal, so.
I hope so.
Here we go, let's do it. There we go, big one. Got him. It's not a huge one, but it's nice. We're on the board. Oh, yeah. That was just awesome, guys. Woo! Hey, Andrew, we got a muskellunge. I'm gonna spot lock us. Oh, yes. So Ty and I, of course, have to have a little competition. He's in the woods hunting whitetails, and he said every deer they see is equivalent to a follow. But if they get a deer, that's 1 point. If we get a muskie, that's 1 point. So right now, I know we're winning the competition. So one thing I'll just, whatever it is, in the fall, up here, there's something about baits that suspend. Suics would be a classic bait, a bobby bait. a crankbait, and even if you're fishing a crankbait like this, or you know, like the traditional big grandma's jake, giant flat stick, casting and reeling works, but when you just have the bait starting and pausing, it's that pause and just letting the bait sit that triggers a lot of fish, whether they're big pike, muskies, even walleyes really go for it. So I'll show you what this beauty looks like. Here you go, Andy. Wow, that's a fat fish, huh? Look at that. We got some action Jackson going on this morning. We had a big wind event yesterday, ran into some big pike, but now conditions are favorable today, day 2. We're getting big pike and muskies. And we just talked to another boat, they just caught a huge walleye, so it's the fall trophy bonanza is happening. Get this back. All right, Mr. Muskie. Cool, huh? Beautiful, aren't they thick? And look how thick that thing is, Andy. That's cool.
Nice belly out here eating.
Eating Cisco's?
Yeah.
This is one of those times in the fall where you can get into situations where you go for hours muskie fishing. Well, anytime, but in the fall, a lot of times it's like nothing happens. And the biggest thing with muskies, stay positive, stay focused. When you look at your trip, don't look at like a morning or an afternoon was a total bust. You look at it as this time period. In that time period, you stay focused and you work at it, fish come in the boat. You just gotta keep casting. Keep a bait wet, and it happens. Trust me, it does.
I got one,
You got a big one. You got him, Andy, you got him. You got him, buddy. Okay, just free spool it. Is it the big one?
It's not a big one, no.
Oh, yes. Woo, buddy. He's got your pin watch over the trolling motor. Oh, you are a good fisherman. Oh, yeah, all right. We have been working hard, and we got our opportunities.
We did have our opportunity.
You know, it's one of those things. If you musky fish, you put time in, and it happens. You work for it, you finally got one. Sweet. We had a good trip. That was super fun. Wait till you see this fish. Andy with this muskie. Hey, that was a super fun trip. We got a long weekend, got to come to Eagle Lake. We caught a few muskies. We caught some big pike. We had opportunities at Giants, and we got to do it with nobody else here except our best friends back at the lodge and our group we brought with. So if you want to come to a great place, have fun, have opportunities to catch lots of fish, and some that are 3 times this size, do it by yourself. This is a great spot to go. What do you think?
Thanks so much for inviting me. This was a great trip, great opportunity to come up here and catch some fish.
All right, let your beauty go.
Did you know that Ontario has some of the finest white-tailed deer hunting in the world? For big buck hunters especially, there's some real trophy potential throughout the province. And data suggests that the average weights of an Ontario deer might be the highest in North America. Hey, here's a question for you. What is the Ontario provincial record for the largest non-typical whitetail taken by archery? Is it 234 5/8 inches? 213 2/8 inches? 222 1/8 inches? Or is it 204 5/8 inches? We'll give you a moment to think it over and have the answer when we come back. So what is Ontario's provincial record for the largest non-typical whitetail taken by archery? If you guess 213 2/8 inches, you're right on. On November 20th, 2008, bow hunter Alex McCulloch decided to brave a cold north wind for an afternoon sit. A good decision. He rattled, gave a few grunts, then followed up with a few bleats. An hour later, movement roused him to grab his bow off the hanger. At 35 yards, he ran the final approach, trying to keep his mind off the antlers. McCulloch made a solid hit, but the trophy buck fought to the very end. Rather than push the deer, he let the big buck bed down and bleed out. After a sleepless night, McCulloch and his buddies returned to track the deer, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Back out here again. Basically kind of going full circle right now. We started in this stand, day 1. Saw a couple does. Decent 7-pointer was coming in, so we thought we'd shift over there. Basically sat there for 20 25 hours, nothing. So we're thinking that he maybe came this way. Maybe we bumped him. I don't know. So there's no reason why that deer would leave a food source unless he came here and we bumped him or whatever. But he pulled the chip. He's heading back. He's gonna let us know after we're done here if he saw anything. But until then, we're kind of optimistic that the deer moved over this way. So. Well, our hunt has come to an end. We hunted hard. Doesn't always work out the way you want it to. We saw a couple does, got us excited. We saw some grouse. We almost got a shot at a grouse. That would have been pretty cool. We had an opportunity to possibly tag a big buck. Didn't happen. Guess what? I'll be back. But now, I'm gonna take care of another addiction, walleye fishing.
After stopping at a couple of the spots on the way back to fill the shore lunch bucket, it was time for a fish fry done right. Definitely a trip highlight. Yep, it's pretty hard to beat walleye that make it from the lake to the plate in just minutes. At least for the smaller fish, it was release into grease time, and done to a perfect golden brown, which paired with one of the lodge's home brews from the on-site brew pub. Yes, life at Eagle Lake Island Lodge is pretty darn good. So out of the stand and into the boat. We're looking for a little more action on this one. Got back to the lodge, went and talked to Andy, said get out of the office, we're going to catch walleyes. So here we are. Eagle Lake, this is one of my favorite walleye lakes in Ontario by far. Actually caught my biggest walleye in Ontario to date right here in this body of water. If you were to ask me where I caught it, I'd tell you. But it would cost you a few dollars. Oh, there we go.
I don't know.
See?
Yeah, that just might be on.
We just went over the fish. No, that's fish. We just went over a bunch, so that's a big fish. Hey, Andy. What do you think about this spot now?
Hey, Andy.
It's either a giant walleye or a muskie. This might be a muskie. Oh my goodness! That is a huge muskie! That is a huge muskie! Oh my gosh! It's coming up! It's coming! Look at that thing! That is a beauty! Oh my gosh, this is a big muskie. On bottom bounces. Hey, if you want to catch muskies on Eagle Lake, pull wet. This is a nice muskie.
Here we go.
Gonna come right into the net. Andy!
Yeah, here we go.
Got him! Andy, look at that thing! Wow! So I'm gonna put her back in the water.
I got the net.
Gee, look at this, Andy! Andy, what do you think, buddy?
Nice job.
Look at that! Look at her!
Look at that. That is awesome.
Look at that girl! That is an Eagle Lake muskie, baby! That's what you come here for, right?
Absolutely. That was
Holy
awesome, Ty. Nicely done, Ty.
Sweet! Oh my gosh, look at her! I was just about to say, hey, there's a couple of big marks here. I look back and Andy's pole is like bent over.
That was
Spinners
awesome.
with lead is all we're doing. But for walleyes. There you go. There you go. Look at her. Andy, a 50, buddy!
That's
Nice!
That's awesome.
That's awesome! Sweet! Now that is an Ontario experience!
That is
right?
awesome. That is awesome, Ty. Thank you.
Okay, we got a huge muskie, right? I mean, this lake is known for big muskies, big walleyes. Oh! Oh! Just as I say that! Are you kidding me?
What do you got?
Look at this. That is, I don't know what it is. Look at that thing pump.
Seriously, I need the net.
Yep.
This is a huge fish. Oh, it's one. It's one.
No way.
Seriously. Oh, look at that. Look
Bring
at
it
the
to me.
size
Bring
of
it to
that. Get it in the net. Yes. Yes. Holy cow. What a day. Look. 50-inch muskie and a huge walleye. Eagle Lake, baby. Look at the size of that thing. Oh my gosh. Are you
That's
kidding
awesome.
me, Andy?
That is crazy.
Oh
What,
my gosh.
what is that?
That is a tank. There she goes. There she goes. Just keep the pace.
come on,
Oh, look
come
at that. That's a big pike. Jeez. What is going on here, Andy? This thing is like crazy fat. The thing's been eating something like right here. Right? You got it?
Yep.
Andy, you stud. Let's get her back in the water. That freaking, look how fat that thing is. That's crazy. That is like crazy. Andy only catches
Big fish.
big fish.
And the bottom.
There it goes. That is so cool.
That's good fun.
That's so cool. And you know what? The sun is hitting the trees. Let's go grab something to eat, buddy.
Sounds good.
What a great day. What a great day.
That's a lot of fun,
Awesome
Ty.
day.